Have you? So you're just like you've never been in love with trial work.
Never been in love with it.
Yeah,
I always felt like it was work, like
yeah.
really like
It
hard
is. It's
work.
well. It's a lot of work.
And
Yeah.
I think I think for some people they really enjoy
uh,
being in court, like you. You love
yeah.
being in trial. You love being in court. You love the litigating process. For me, I just it never really
Yeah.
fell in love with it.
There's some things I mean, really wrong. Like there's when sometimes like the last trial we did, in the middle of trial, I'm like, why am I doing this to myself, man? I can be hanging out, having a drink, a
Yeah,
martini
yeah,
on a rooftop, but I think for me, it's just the challenge and like the thrill of you know the asking a jury to telling someone's story, getting a jury to asking them for money for your client, seeing what can happen. That chase there's a rush to that I
sure,
like. It's so you're betting on yourself pretty much,
yeah,
and then, so I kind of like that. But yeah, there's definitely. I mean, no, like it's a lot of work, and then when you're going through it, you're like, why am I doing this? But after every trial I've done, I've always felt like you just kind of transformed into another lawyer. It's kind of a leveling up thing. But aside from that, business will do that to you too. Like there's a plenty of challenges and hardships in business. I definitely don't need to put myself through more pain than I already do. We
yeah.
have to do. But
There's a lot of suffering.
yeah,
It's a
yeah.
lot of headaches. I
I think
just
it's
it
different problems. Like I think now, like I kind of there's painful things you still deal with in running a business. But I think like the problems you have now than 10 years ago, or I like they're better problems. I think
yeah,
and you
I would
also
agree with
have. I'm
that.
sure you feel the same way. Like for me is I've realized that as a founder, you're a problem solver. You're always thinking how to problem solve everything. And then the moment you find out, I don't know how to solve this problem anymore. That's when you have to hire like someone that can, or like getting that high level guy that can.
For sure.
So,
For sure. You got to delegate. You got to
yeah,
think about what's the best use of your time
yeah,
and decide what to work on and what not to work on.
yeah, exactly. Yep. There's that good book Dan Martell wrote. You've heard of it? It's called Buy Back Your Time. And I read that. You probably already you it sounds like you already knew you're already going that way. You could have told me. I had to read the book. I probably should have asked you, but I think the big thing I learned was like you're like as a founder or the owner or whatever, you know what your strengths and weaknesses are. As your time spent if you were to go pull medical records on a workers' comp case, that's the worst part of your time because
Yeah.
you can generate clients. At that time you're spending chasing down medical records for a case, you can be out at a meeting or
Oh
go
yeah.
marketing, being
Yeah, I think
strategic about that. Yeah.
it's super important to be able to take your hands off the wheel a
Mm-hmm.
bit and delegate so
Yeah.
then you can then go do things that will generate more money
Mm-hmm.
for the firm. And I think a lot of people struggle with that.
Oh yeah.
They micromanage, they won't give up the litigation
Yeah.
part of the work they do.
Yeah.
But for me, I've always thought, how could I make more money? What am
Yeah.
I going to do that's going to make me more money? And it's getting cases.
Yeah. Definitely. You're making the biggest impact for the whole team with that.
Yeah.
But you hit it on the head earlier. You said identity, like people are tied to their identity, and I noticed, like with me, I was so used to being like the every person here, and then when you break off of that identity, and now I'm in a better spot. My quality of life's a lot better. I'm making strategic decisions, handling cases that I want to handle.
Yeah.
But there was that like separation kind of thing where like I'm so used to being the mover of everything, and then you kind of gotta, even though you're in that promised land now, there's always that like because that was who you were.
Yeah, and
So you
there's
yeah,
fear. There's fear
yeah.
in letting go too,
Yeah, there is, yeah.
right? Because you don't know that things are going to be done the way you want them to be done.
Yeah.
But you
But
have to at some point. You gotta let go a little
no,
bit.
definitely. And so it's all about your leadership team and the management team you have. They have to
Yeah,
be able to execute, and you gotta trust.